Well, I'm here in St. Lawrence, which is a quaint little town surrounded by wetlands with black swans and pelicans and lily pads, wetland, marshy kind of area. I've just been to the general store here and my foods are getting slowly more and more sugary because I've only been able to visit sort of service stations and the like. I only got a little bit of bread and tuna left on the savoury side. And it's 85 kilometres to Marlborough. And then it's another 100 km from there to Rockhampton. Yeah, it's quite a way from Mackay/Serena through to Rockhampton. And it's been hard to keep myself fed and not feeling weak and tired. Queensland's railways use such a narrow gauge, it's like 0.8 of a metre between the two rails, that the train can't go very fast at all. As soon as there's a little corner it has to slow right down. I actually saw it just speeding up once it got round that bend.
Cute, isn't it? The brightly coloured, brightly painted train warning and the gorgeous flower hedges over there. Quite quaint, St. Lawrence.
There's this campsite at St. Lawrence here, and you can get water pretty easily here, so I've decided to add a litre to my stash just to make sure I've got enough to get through.
Well, the Bruce Highway's been pretty rubbish today. At many points the shoulder was just unrideable because it was so rough. And with all the traffic, it's not really safe to ride on the road either, so I had to kind of ride on the road and then get off all the time.
I've just visited the shop in Marlborough and I found myself a little camping spot here. So tonight I'm going to probably sleep without the fly. And the reason for that is that I was actually overheating last night. The other thing I wanted to say is that I got myself a Queensland number plate. Got to make sure your vehicle is registered and all that. I saw my first cycle tourist. He was heading out the other way, just heading out of Marlborough as I was coming in. He was carrying way too much stuff. He was probably carrying 3 times as much stuff as I am. And he looked like he was really struggling. And I thought, well, I really struggled to get here from Mackay. Is he going to make it? He looked like he wasn't having much fun. This trip has really taught me the importance of reducing the amount of weight that you're carrying more than any other bicycle trip that I've done. And I will be looking to reduce the amount of stuff that I carry in future trips. Tomorrow morning I will head into Marlborough again, go back to that same shop and buy some more food for breakfast just to make sure that I've got enough to get through to Rockhampton, which is another day similar to today. And today was a slog. Today was a real slog.
Well, it looks as though the moon's out, so I might have to put this fly on after all, otherwise I'll probably just get woken up because of the moonlight. It's kind of cool being able to watch the sunset through the tent.
Well, I've just done some research about knee pain. It hasn't been too bad, but I don't want to do myself any long-term damage. What I've found is that when I'm at the top of my stroke is when the pain happens, when I compress from here. Which makes sense because this muscle heading over the top of the knee then has to tighten, which pushes down on the knee. And the cartilage underneath there is what's being compressed, and that's what I can feel. Anyway, I've done a bit of research. Apparently this is a pretty common problem. It looks as though my crank length needs to be shorter so that my knees don't go up so high. Tomorrow I'll go to Rockhampton. My grandmother's sister, Daphne, and her husband Jeff, I want to see them. And I also want to see Beck and Graham. They're peace activists. I'll probably stay in Rockhampton for 3 or 4 days. From Rockhampton, at the moment, the plan is to go to Gladstone. From Gladstone, down to Bundaberg. From Bundaberg, I'm going to head down to where this purple flag is, which is a small town by the name of something or other. That's right, Kilkeven. Now, from Kilkeven, there is a rail trail which goes down to Kingaroy, and that is called the South Burnett Rail Trail. And then from this little town at the blue marker, which is called Nanengo, there's another rail trail, the Brisbane Valley Rail Trail, which goes all the way through to Ipswich. Now, an old roommate of mine, Benjamin, has expressed interest in catching up, so I guess I'll spend some time with him in Brisbane. And a good friend of mine, Naomi, will also be around, so I may get to see her as well. And I've never seen Brisbane before, so that'll be exciting in and of itself. Well, it's morning now, and I am glad that I did put that fly up. A really serious fog. You can see all the spider webs have water all over them, little droplets. Well, so did all of my stuff that I left outside, including my socks. So I've had to switch my socks. Do I really want to ride on the Bruce Highway with this kind of fog? Not really, no. I do have my light on. Look at these vehicles just coming out of nowhere. Well, I'm just in an abandoned general store, sort of between Marlborough and Rockhampton. Found some Queensland graffiti. Ban Islam. Well, the beginning of today was awesome. I did like 70 k's in no time, running way ahead of schedule. The last 12 kilometres since Yamba have just been miserable. My knee pain has come back, and it halves my speed and increases the pain significantly. There's not normally any pain. It just makes it miserable, and the shoulder has been almost non-existent. I think I've had one of my closest calls today, just in the last 10 minutes, and I'm sick of nearly dying, basically. Stop for Darnie, go Darnie. Hard to know. I'm here in downtown Rockhampton, and we've got a place here. Beck and Graham, the peace activists and so on, and their whole group, they're all here. Gonna go out and protest Adani. That's what they're gonna do, so I thought I'll tag along and take some footage of that. It's kind of the opposite of what we saw in the coal towns, so that'll be funny to see. Got a dude dressed up as Jesus here, and been having a chat with him. He's actually also a cycle tourist. Anyway, it'll be funny. That's context.
Hey Sonny, what do you need, darling?
She's now working in the days. Sophie's just gone off to get placards. Oh, she's just here.
Yeah, Sophie.
With Lance?
Just clean your shoes.
Moonbeam, would you mind carrying this Stop Adani placard? Is that okay, huh?
Are we using the cardboard one? What you could do is, Mooney, one thing you could do is you could walk with me and check I don't fall over. That's easier than...
No.
Chris, do you mind staying with Adani?
Oh no, I'd rather free range.
Bloody.
put them all in a bag,
There's
and
two
then
different types, they'll all get mixed up.
when
Maybe
we
I'll
pull
just...
up,
Can I give you some
get-
crack? And Ted needs to get to bed early.
Have you got the gloves?
Great attention, Jason. Opening up. Stop it, darling. Can I give you a leaflet? Information? There are new jobs in, without a darling, that's all we need.
I think they got an Uber and they're all trying to fit in it. Well, that was interesting. Just heading back now. Well, this is where I'll be sleeping tonight, and just look at this place. We've got this amazing 6-seated bicycle. There's my bike. And I've just got to find somewhere to sleep in here. Seems like be plenty of spots to do it. But look at this one too, this purple thing. Just millions of weird and wonderful bicycles. Canoe, all bikes. This is just the most amazing place. Look at this sculpture. I guess this is meant to be a caricature of some politician. Predator drones, nukes, chemical weapons, torture, abduction, mercenary armies. Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Syria. This is how peace activists live. Stop the Talisman Sabre war rehearsals. Wow, just look at this place.
World War II, the Americans are making roads through,
Concrete,
through the swamp. And she sits with me. But occasionally I can't work out what she's alerted to.
It's funny where life takes you. Sometimes you might wake up in an anarchist collective in Rockhampton. It's alright, I've got the beard and the hair. If it gets a bit messier, I'll fit right in. Tonight there's a film screening out towards Yeppoon, and I'm going to go to that. That's with these people. They invited me along and they said that there'd be a place for me to stay as well. I thought, why not? Apparently it's an environmentally conscious coal miner. Yeah, then I'll go and see my great aunt and her husband tomorrow, I suppose. Cool beans. Just have a look at this place though. It's so amusing. This gorgeous morning weather reminds me of Emerald, and that's probably no coincidence because we're at almost exactly the same latitude here on the Tropic of Capricorn. But yeah, it's lovely, really lovely weather. Well, I'm here in the Rockhampton City Library, and guess what I found?
Well, I just cycled like 35 kilometres to a couple of churches here in Rockhampton. There's another one over there. To meet Graham and friends who were going to drive me to a movie, but they left 15 minutes before I got here. And I made the mistake of texting Beck, not Graham, so I didn't get that information. So now I've got to sit around by myself here at these churches in the middle of nowhere. It's a nice sunset though, and a really nice view. Here's the church. Turn this torch up. Sonny doesn't want a pat.
She's posing.
She's posing. Bit late now. Anyway, there's an emu down there. That's why they call it an emu park.
That's right, they things life changing.
You know, I was thinking of starting like a journal, a photo diary of all of the different roadkill I've seen. I've seen everything. I've seen tawny frogmouths. I've seen, well, plenty of kangaroos and wallabies, and I've seen little bandicoots. I've seen an eagle. But what I haven't seen until now is an emu. And the other thing I haven't seen until now is an echidna. So, still waiting on the emu, but that's quite sad. I think that's the first time I've ever seen a road-killed echidna. Yeah, I don't know what to say really. It's sad. There you go. Anyway, I'm just heading off to see Daphne and Jeff now at the boat ramp where they've got their boat up on the slip, which I guess is like a dry dock. And they're going to paint the underside of it and get all the coral off. So, yeah. Big old catamaran up there. This is Jeff's vehicle, an old Land Rover. Pretty cool. We'll stick my bike in the back of that when we leave. But they're just working on the boat over here. Just pulling all the old paint off and cleaning it up for a new paint job.
Ted's here, so there's 4 of us coming home, and I was thinking if you wanted to start with
Okay. Check out these door handles. It looks like something out of World War II or maybe Vietnam at the latest. Although he tells me it was designed in the 70s for the British military. They used these vehicles in the, I think, first Gulf War. That would have been in the 90s, I presume. Kuwait, that sounds right. Look, my knowledge of history is not what it should be. But anyway, so the British Army subcontracted Land Rover to build these for them in the 1970s. It looks a lot older than that. Look at that gear stick. Look at those dials.
rather be at home growing fruit and veggies, so that's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of fun too, isn't it?
Well, tonight I'm sleeping in a building site because Daphne and Jeff are building this new place at their property and don't have a... Well, they're still building it, basically. Don't have anywhere else to stick me. So I've gone from sleeping in the anarchist collective to sleeping in a church to sleeping in a building site. I wonder what's next.
How many patients are you seeing with Parkinson's and motor issues?
Well, we think in Queensland there's between 15 and 18,000 people with Parkinson's disease. The exact figure is unclear. We don't really know.
Keeper Blair Chapman says the two babies have the same father.
Australia.
So some old ladies of about maybe 65, 70. I got chatting with one of them on a bench and she told me that she loves cycling. Anyway, some of her friends came over too. I had a little chat with them as well. Anyway, the first lady gave me her the address of her. She's got like a B&B thing here and she said, hey, come along and say hello if you want. Anyway, yeah, people are nice. People are really nice, you know. Good on you, Meryl. I don't really think I have the time. The problem with Rockhampton is the people are so friendly here that you get invited to a million things and I just had to say no. I want to get to Brisbane pretty quickly. I'm looking at the map and I'm going, yeah, it's a long way to get in a month.
Hello, Echidna.
So you folded over on both sides, do you?
Yeah, the pieces, I've undone it and tucked it right up.
Oh, and then so you've got to go through 5 layers.
Yeah, but that's easy.
This was my last day in Rockhampton, and it was good to spend some of it with my family. Daphne kindly fixed my shirt, which was coming apart at the seams, and Jeff showed me around the enormous fruit and vegetable garden, which included mangoes, bananas, cassava, guavas, dragon fruit, celery, nasturtium, tropical pears and citrus, vanilla beans, avocados, zucchinis, and more. I then headed back into Rockhampton to visit the library one last time, using the opportunity to do some research for the next leg of the trip. I was excited to get back on the road and looking forward to visiting Gladstone for the first time.